What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. So we have someone very, very passionate about the trades. He even wrote a book called Grit, Grind, Glory. Now, the book is basically talking to potential people that want to get in the trade and stories of the trade, and even to parents of kids that, hey, college is an option, sure, but the trades are a viable option too. So Kyle Smith is our guest. He's a contractor himself and has been for many years, and he's very passionate about the trade. So let's get to this, guys. This is the HVAC Know It All podcast. I'm your host, Gary McCreadie. This podcast is sponsored by Cool Air Products, Master, Cintas, and SupplyHouse.com. Go to the show notes and click on the links to check these guys out. All right, brother, what's up, man? You wrote a book. You reached out to me when I said, hey, I got this open mic thing happen, and you reached out to me about a book that you've written or you're writing. Explain that to me right now.
So basically the book is already done, and the book is called Grit, Grind, and Glory in the Trades. Still kind of working out the last few details, trying to right now actually get variety of people to do short interviews from different trades. So the men and women that are in the field, whether they're an apprentice and they want to speak about their journey, answer a few questions, or like the journeyman, all the way people who may have gone to college, got that degree, but still ended up choosing to work in the field. So kind of a book for everyone, kind of wrapping it up, and it should be out. We're thinking end of February, beginning of March is when it'll hit the stores.
Okay, so why did you write the book? What was the reasoning behind it?
So I wrote the book because back when I got into the trades, I'd always thought it would be really helpful if I had a better understanding of what trade life is like, what to expect, how to come in from somebody that was halfway decent with tools and had a little bit of knowledge, but not as much in the HVAC field. Just kind of was able to kind of build things, maybe fix, take apart a lawnmower, things that my father taught me, growing up. I wanted to write a book to really help out that younger generation coming in. Right now, we have a massive gap in the industry. We have guys and women that have been in the trade for a long time. They're starting to retire and they're not passing down that knowledge. So when I was an apprentice, I really thought about, man, it would be great if somebody had a book or information out there. So over my course of years, going from my apprenticeship through now I'm an account manager here at MK Mechanical, I was like, I could take all this experience and really help somebody out.
I have a question to ask you. And I've been to like a lot of different shows, product launches, talk to different people in the industry. And we have AI, we have tools like that make our job easier. Remember back in the day, get an old flaring block, you had to gauge your own depth of the copper, then you had to get the block and then use your wrist to spin it. And you made this flare, hopefully a correct, beautiful flare. But now we got tools that do it for us. It's repeatable. They make perfect flares every time as long as the tool's working the way it should. We have CRM tools with AI that rewrite our paragraphs to make it look more professional. We got a lot of things like this in the industry now. This could be a giant rabbit hole, Kyle. We could get stuck on for hours, but we've only got so much time on our hands. But I wanted to ask you, do you think that the industry as a whole sees that we have a lack of talent and they're designing things for the less skilled people to be able to still perform the trade better? Here's my theory on this. We can promote the trades heavily, just keep promoting it. But if somebody has decided that I'm good at the internet and I'm going to make money sitting on my couch, that's probably what they're going to do because it's in the comfort of their own home. They don't got to get wet. They don't get it dirty. Some people aren't like that. Some people want a challenge outside of what that is. The kids now are being raised differently. So do you think that the industry as a whole sees the fact we're not going to get these people? So let's try to make things easier for the people we do have so they're more efficient. Is this a theory that could be happening or is happening? What do you think?
It's a great question, and it's definitely a hot topic that people have mentioned before. Tools that are coming out, the digital gauges, the flare blocks that you're talking about now, that every single time you're pressing it, it comes out, it's great. Same thing with the RLS, ProPress, MegaPress, all of that. Those tools, I don't think are just made for, as you said, the kids coming in that don't want to do that. It's made to make the job easier, to be able to go faster, get to the next call, get to the next job site.
Because we have less people. That's the catch-22. I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I'm just trying to have a neutral conversation, right? And one of the things that is happening a lot is this predictive maintenance stuff where you can attach, and it's going to happen more and more, and it's happening in commercial more, but it will happen in residential, where sensors will be outfitted on the machine and it can predict or maybe tell you what has failed on that machine, so you don't even have to diagnose it. You go bring the parts with you and you change them when you're there. Stuff like that makes me wonder, do we think that we're not going to have enough people to rotate around these calls, so we're going to make everything a little bit easier for the people we have? So continue your thought. You started with the press and stuff to make things easier for the technician, make them move along faster. Continue your thought, Kyle. Sorry.
Well, no, again, like you just made a great point there. I hope not, being in the trade and having a group of guys here at work and everywhere across the U.S., I hope that's not the case. Fairly confident that we're going to start seeing more and more people get into the trades. It's inevitable. These college degrees out there that people are majoring in, and they graduate, they're in student debt, and they can't find jobs. So I do think that people are going to start coming into the trades. So to back that up with talking about that equipment and being quick repairs, that's the way that everyone's going, but that's not always going to be the case, because not every homeowner out there, not every single business is going to invest in those type of equipment right away. Whether or not you have a bad high limit switch, right? And you walk up to a unit and it's going to tell you that. Not every customer in the world is going to be able to afford those rooftop units, split systems. It's still going to take the men and women of the younger generation and our generation right now to go in there and diagnose that and be able to figure out, hey, this is the issue, and make the repair.
I see where you're coming from there, because right now that technology with all the AI and all the self-diagnostics, it's still, even though some of it's been around for a while, but in 20 years from now, it's going to be a different story. I believe in 20 years from now, pretty much every residential system, even commercial systems probably a bit more, but residential systems, because it seems like it starts in commercial, the technology, and it trickles it down into residential. Because I see these residential techs getting mad all the time. Why do we need circuit boards in these units? I just want contactors and capacitors. But in commercial equipment, we've been running off of circuitry and logic for a very long time, and it's worked really, really well. So I just see it 20 years, 30 years down the road, we will have equipment that says, hey, listen, you're short of refrigerant, and there might be a detector close. Well, there is detectors now with A2Ls, but maybe that's a bad example. But maybe it's like, hey, your high limit failed, and it's not your high limit that actually failed. It read correctly. You're overfiring here. Potentially, you might have to bring a new gas valve because the gas valve might be buggered. So you might have to adjust it when you get there. You might have a new one on hand because you're overfiring. There's going to be sensors and smart technology out there that's going to allow people, before they get to site, know what to bring to site. I know it. I see it coming, and it's inevitable. So do you think that will happen? That we will get to the point where these diagnostics will be made by an onboard system, maybe a little bit of AI involved, and tell you what's wrong with the system before you even get there, so you can bring the correct part, or be somewhere in the ballpark of the correct part?
I think you're right in saying that's probably the way that, the future is going to go. You're going to have that. That's, as you mentioned, you can't deny that with AI and all the fancy technology that's out now. But it's still going to take somebody who is capable of the knowledge of making that repair done. You can't just show up there. We can't pull a kid off the street, 20 years from now, give them the readout that has, the AI generated control board is telling you that something has failed. Can't get anybody off the street and just be like, hey, here you go. Here's the part. Figure it out. You still have to have somebody who is capable of understanding everything. Equipment is not always gonna, like you said, for example, it may tell you that it's the high limit switch, and it's not. You get out there and you go and replace it, it's still acting up. Technology is not always correct.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go medieval on that thing and pull out your meter and your manometer and actually check it. So yeah, you're right. I mean, there's technology right now that misdiagnoses things or gives you the wrong information. So if you get out there and like you said, if the AI, the technology, or whatever is behind the diagnostic is wrong, and you change that part, and you go, uh-oh, I'm stuck here because now I don't know how to troubleshoot on my own. That's going to be a problem. So yes, you're right. You will have to understand the order of operations of the machine, how PC boards work, like, I mean, inputs, logic, outputs, all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to understand all of that, and how to test it, how to grab your meter, how to grab your manometer, grabbing maybe something to check airflow, like a hot wire anemometer. All these tools you need to understand and know how to use in order to verify what the that machine might be telling you. So it was really just to have like a bit of a conversation, Kyle, around that topic, because I was at a launch yesterday for a new line of Honeywell's kind of revamping, or Residio, their thermostat line. And one of the things they've got is this product called Analyze, which costs the homeowner like $3 a month or something like that. And they didn't really get much into it, but it somehow analyzes the system and gives you graphs, or I don't know how it works because I didn't dig into it too much. I don't know if you have to outfit the machine with sensors, like supply air, return air, outdoor. I don't know, but more and more controls companies are coming out with things like this to have predictive maintenance capabilities. And the term predictive maintenance is going to be the new term. It's not going to be preventative. It's going to be predictive, to get there before things break down, before it becomes an issue.
That's pretty interesting. So basically, it sounds like it's his introduction into like the BAS system,
which has been around in commercial forever. And I mean, I worked with, when I worked for another contractor, all the buildings, it was very rare that I ever saw a thermostat on a wall. It was all building automation. And with building automation, you can set up things and know when things are about to fail. We would go do maintenances just on the communication side, like the BAS side, and we find units in alarm. Like, we'd have tons of redundancy at let's say a specific building, tons of redundancy, but we'd see unit 5 and unit 10 and unit 12 are in alarm. They're not working. Well, then we'd just go there and fix them. No one would even know they were down, ever. We'd go fix them so that it would never become a problem, ever. Because imagine you had redundancy and you had like 5 units go down, and you needed 6 out of 10 to run. Well, now you're in trouble. But if you can have something spitting back at you, hey, these are down, you might want to go look at them before more go down, or before it becomes a bigger problem. That's a really good advantage to have for a service company. Really good advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. We have it here with numerous accounts that we have. We do a lot of medical, a lot of churches. The BAS system, as you said, is we have so many redundancies. We're able to go out there. Our controls tech, our controls manager, I should say, he will just pop up on a site. He's sitting at his desk and he's like, I got to remote into this. And he's like, oh, he's got a couple alarms on a system and it's perfect. See if he can remote in, be able to do things without going to the site, or sending another controls tech out there to go in and literally work on the system prior to the customer ever even knowing that there is an issue, like you mentioned.
Do you think that with the heavy promotions of the trades, do you think we're actually going to get kids swinging this direction? And the college thing, just before you answer that question, you did say kids don't want to have college debt and all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, universities, big universities, stuff like that, they're on the decline anyway, even if it's for other things, because there's a lot of cost savings that can be had from online trainings, micro trainings, all this kind of stuff. And you can be self-taught now. I didn't go to business school, but I self-taught myself how to be I didn't go to business school and pay money in a tuition, but I self-taught myself how to be a business owner just by digging in. And there's no certificate that I have that says you have graduated the business owner. I just know how to do it now because I've dug in and I've kept to it. So I think all of those university courses, yes, college might be on the decline anyway, regardless, just because of the way the internet is and how you can take these mini courses and sign up for all kinds of stuff and do it on your own time. I think they're going to be out of luck soon, and we've caught on to maybe that the institutional way of doing things isn't always right because we hand them a whole bunch of money and we don't necessarily get the value in return. Okay, with that being said, do you think the promotions of the trades will bring in people? Do you think it'll bring in the people we think or we hope it will?
I honestly believe that that's the case. I really do. I think nowadays there is a significant amount of people that are just tired of being told what to do. Having teachers, Gary, I don't know how old you are, so I'm 40. So I would say from the time that I was in grade school to probably 20 years prior, we had teachers across the country, and I'm sure through other countries as well, saying, hey, if you don't go to college, you're never going to be successful. You need that degree to be successful. That, to me, I hated school, to be honest. I hated it I stayed back in the first grade. I had a terrible teacher. She held me out one of the last days of school, me and actually 4 or 5 other kids, I remember. And she handed us a popsicle going in right before summer break. Hands us a popsicle and says, hey, you're staying back. Like I'll never forget. It was an orange flavored popsicle. It pissed me off because it's the worst flavor. And then 2, I didn't understand what staying back meant. But that created a chip on my shoulder for like the next 30 years where I hated school. I did it to please my parents. To be honest, if I went my own route earlier, I would have gotten into the trade a lot sooner. So I do think that there are kids out there right now, and even people that might be working a desk job. They could be working at Home Depot. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can get into the trade at any time. And a lot of people are going to end up getting into the trade because they're tired of being, told what to do, what is right. Come into the trade, learn something different. Yes, you have to follow it, but nowadays people are really starting to figure it out on their own, that this is a solid option.
You can be your own business owner quickly. When I say quickly, I don't mean like within the first 6 months, but if you spend 5 years in the industry and get to know it really, really well, if you're advantageous enough, you can go start your own business, be your own boss, and make your own decisions.
So I do. Again, I really firmly believe that we are going to get people back into the trades. They're realizing, hey, the money out there is good. I have to work hard for it. Not everyone's going to be the next famous TikTok dancing moron out there. You can't make a living. Not everyone can make a living on the internet. You're going to have to go out there and work with what you want.
I agree with you there to a certain extent, but the internet has opened up all kinds of opportunity. You don't have to be on TikTok dancing to make money. You can make money doing all kinds of things on the internet now. That is what the trades are fighting because, like I said in the beginning, if a kid can work 4 or 5 hours a day from their room or from the couch and make as much money or more as they're making in a trade, what are they going to choose? If you were 18 and I said, hey, Kyle, you can stay home, work 5 hours a day from your couch or work whenever you want. You don't have to wake up at 7 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. You can wake up at 10. You can work at midnight if you want. You can go on holiday and you can still work. But I'm going to give you $50K a year on this hand, but I'm going to make you wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to make you get dirty. I'm going to make you get yelled at by your boss or whoever. Like, you know what I mean? When you start putting things on a scale for a kid, they're going, you know what? It takes a special kind of kid these days to want to get dirty and work really, really hard. I think it does because they haven't been trained and taught that way through school, I don't believe. But the parenting's different, all that kind of stuff too. So if you were that kid at 18, what would you choose?
I come from a different background, man. I was always taught to work hard. It's in my blood. I'm going the manual labor route. Many others like me that are just not into the computer work, the kids that can't sit still. You made a great point in saying, yeah, there's a lot of different avenues on the internet. You don't just have to do the TikTok. You can literally do anything you want on the internet. And there is money to be made out there. But that's not for everyone. There are plenty of people right now sitting in a classroom, can't sit still. They can't focus on something. They could care less about the latest iPhone or any other Apple computer product. They don't care about that. There's somebody right now sitting in that classroom that can't wait to get out of school to go home, work with their friends or their father on a car. The trades, it's not going to go away. It's really not. And thankfully it's not, because we're going to need all the help we get in the coming years. But are we going to get an entire abundance of people? No, but that's the reason that I wrote the book, because I'm not going after every single person that is choosing to go to a college or a university. That's any individual's choice. I'm writing to the kids that can't sit still, to that young adult that's debating, sitting in maybe like CRS, customer service representative, somebody that's like, I can't do this much longer. What else is out there? And just want to show light on the trade. It's a great option, and not everyone's built for it. That's just my opinion. That's what I see. I talk to a lot of my friends, kids, other people on the street, even the guys that I work with. We have customers all the time. Hey, so-and-so's thinking about going to college, but he's not a book kid. He's not a computer kid. What's it like? It's hard work. It's rewarding. The pay is good. It's only going to get better with the more experience you have. I mean, that's kind of the way that I see it. It's definitely not easy when you get into a trade. It's hard. You are forever learning. You have to be a curious soul to be successful in the trades. Just because somebody got into the, HVAC, for example, they got in, they're a duck guy. They're out there hanging pipe. It's not just hanging pipe, which a lot of people will be like outsiders that don't understand it. It's like, it's just duct work. Well, it's not. It's moving airflow. There's a lot more to it. Designs of the diffuser.
A meme one time that HVAC guys they're just air plumbers.
It's not just that. You have to learn. You want to be really good at your job. You want to be a great duct guy. Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to fabricate. Math is coming into play, but the basic understanding of airflow is where it matters. So I started out in the duct field. That's how I came about. And then worked into service and then installs. And then I got into the account manager side. But in every single position, and it's not just HVAC, it's, electricians, it's welders, it's plumbers, your typical woodworkers, your auto mechanics. It's new things come out. If you want to be great at your job, you have to stay on top of that.